Being an entrepreneur is one of the hardest things I think any human being can do. You're literally 100% betting on yourself to go out, to have an idea, to create a business, be great at marketing, be great at sales, being great at fulfillment, and succeeding. Whereas the majority of people out there know they're not cut out to be an entrepreneur. So I feel like being an entrepreneur is one of the hardest things any person can do. And it's a lonely feeling. A lot of times you feel like no one understands you. No one understands the pain and the struggles that you're going through. So today, what I want to talk about is those struggles, embracing those struggles, and giving you 5 ways that can help you overcome those feelings of feeling damned, right? Now, this goes into there's a lot of different ways that you can feel like you're just not cut out to be an entrepreneur. And that's not necessarily the case, just because maybe you're not getting the results right there in the moment, right? This could come down to having issues with personnel, people inside of your business, relationships inside of your business. This could come down to you're not making enough money. This could come down to you're not getting the results across the entire finish line, right? Specifically when we talk about wholesaling real estate, right? Hey, I'm great at generating leads. Maybe I'm struggling with closing, or maybe I'm closing, but I'm not getting dispo, or I'm having title issues. And a lot of times as entrepreneurs, sometimes we overreact and we say, oh man, this one deal fell apart. I have to make massive, pivots and changes in my business, but that's not necessarily the case. So I want to talk to you about slowing down and really thinking about what you need to do to get the desired results instead of freaking out and falling into the depths of the issues and the trials and the tribulations that we have to overcome as an entrepreneur. So I have 5 steps for you to help you inside of your entrepreneurial journey. Okay. Step number 1, end toxic personnel relationships. Whether this is a partnership, whether this is a vendor you're working with, an employee that you've hired, whatever it is, do not hang on to those relationships because you're afraid of what will happen if you move on from that personnel decision. This is one of the biggest struggles that I think entrepreneurs have, is the fact that they look at a person and they say, I know that's not the right person, but if I fire that person or I move on from this relationship, who's going to do that job? Who's going to do that task that person is currently responsible for? Well, let me tell you, after 14 years of being an entrepreneur, I can promise you it is much more beneficial to sever the cord, move on from that toxic relationship, and either take on the responsibility and the task yourself than to have the wrong person in that position. To be quite frank, it would even be better to cut the cord, move on from that relationship, and hire a completely ignorant new person and train them in that role to keep the wrong person in that role. So step number 1 in this is to end any toxic relationship, whether that's an employee, a partnership, whatever. You're not going to solve it. Okay. You're just wasting time, effort, and energy. And to be quite frank, an opportunity that sits in front of you. Do not sit stagnant out of fear of moving on from a toxic relationship. So that's number 1. Number 2, if it's not a personnel issue, maybe it's something that's just not flowing right? Maybe you're just not making enough money. Focus on small pivots. Too often I see entrepreneurs that are not getting the desired results, and they make these huge swings. They go from one marketing effort to another marketing channel. They move from this CRM to that CRM. They go from being a landlord to a wholesaler, from a wholesaler to a flipper. Huge swings. And the problem with that is you're not really diagnosing what was the problem inside of your business. Focus on small little pivots. So for example, let's say you're having issues with lead generation. Don't necessarily stop whatever you're doing for marketing and then completely move to a new channel. Because what if the issue was your closing skills? Maybe it was the script that you were using. Maybe it was the people inside of your business and how they were analyzing deals or talking to sellers or the lack of the ability to close deals. Or maybe it was just 4 or 5 leads came in and they weren't ready to sell yet. They weren't the right leads. And you started making huge pivots, huge changes instead of sitting down, making small pivots, and diagnosing what was the real problem. Okay. Well, that leads me into number 3. Make sure when your business is, you should always be doing this, but very much specifically when things are not going right, become uber obsessed with tracking your KPIs, your key performance indicators, and your results. Where are they coming from and why were they coming from there, right? A lot of times as entrepreneurs, we make these rash decisions because one thing works. That's where we should go all in. Not necessarily. Sit back, track the results over the course of time, slow things down. Anytime things are not going right in our business, I always focus on I need to slow down, not go faster. And what's funny about that is when I slow down and I make less rash decisions and I'm tracking the results and I'm more uber focused on what's working and what's not working, what I've learned is that by slowing down as a company, we go much faster because we know why we're making the small pivots. We know why we're moving on for somebody or whether we're keeping someone, whether or not the results are there. Maybe it's just a little bit of extra training. Maybe it's a little tweak. I use the example of when Jamie LeBlanc came to our office. He was here for like 2 or 3 days. And I heard him for like a day having conversations with sellers, but I wasn't listening to everything that he was saying because he was on the other end of the office. Well, I kept hearing the conversation, and I could only hear his side of the conversation, but I kept hearing that the conversation was focused around real estate and the property itself, and it being a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,200 square foot, and then the condition. And it was a lot about the property details and not really about the pain and motivation from the seller. So because I slowed down, instead of making a rash decision or a huge pivot for him, I kept trying to diagnose where is he missing in the conversation, in the flow of the closer's formula, to diagnose where the pain and motivation is coming from. Well, it was in step 3 of the closer's formula when he's supposed to ask, tell me a little bit about what you got going on. He was saying, tell me a little bit about what you got going on with the property. And those 3 words, with the property, were steering the seller down a path of talking about what's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,200 square foot. It needs cosmetic rehab. They weren't talking about their pain and motivation because of those 3 words that he was saying during that question. So the small little pivot, because I slowed down, I was tracking his results, I was listening. Small little pivot was, hey, Jamie, let's remove those 3 words from that question. Boom. The next seller he's talking to. Great conversation, all about the pain and motivation, signed contract. The next seller he talks to, same thing, pain, motivation. He's able to ask better questions moving forward, and it leads to a better result. So, did I move on from the personnel with Jamie calling the leads? No, absolutely not. Jamie's our brother. He's a great asset for Titanium. Did I make huge swings in decisions on what he should do? No, I focused on a small pivot. And how did I get there? I tracked the results. I slowed myself down as the business owner and said, I don't want to do anything rash. I don't want to say, hey, let's stop talking to lead Zolo leads. Let's stop talking to speed to lead leads. No, we sat down and we made a small little pivot, and then boom, we got the results that we want. Okay. Step number 4, join a community. Specifically, if you're watching this, join our free Facebook group, The Vault. We've got over 10,000 members in there now. And whenever you're having these types of problems, you can go into the community. You can ask questions. Hey, guys, this is what's going on inside of my business. What do you guys recommend? The other thing that I love about joining communities is that you will hear other people talk about issues that are going on inside of their business, right? Listen to what the other people, so actually be engaged inside the community. Don't just sit there and only ask your questions and expect other people, but listen to what other people are saying. Give advice back. Be engaged in the community. This is how you're going to get a difference from being inside the community, is both giving and receiving inside of it. But make sure you're joining a community of like-minded individuals that understand what you're trying to accomplish and how you're trying to accomplish it. This is why it's important. If you're going to use the closer's formula, if you're going to use the systems that we use and the processes that we teach here on this YouTube channel, to be engaged inside of our community just like everyone else is. So you can hear what is working for them and what's not working, what pivots are made. Join a community. So the free Facebook group, The Vault, there is a link inside of this show notes as well as on the About on the YouTube channel. You could go join that for free. If you really want to take it to another level, go to titaniumvault.com, which is our ultimate paid community, where we have daily implementation calls where me, Cassie, and Nick sit down with the entire community and we're saying, hey, this is what we're doing. This is what we want you to do today. Hey, we want you going out. We want you finding 3 to 5 for-sale buy owners using this method, using these tactics, and building up your own free lead generation queue. These are the type of things that we go over inside the implementation calls. This is why it's important to be a part of a community. And last, and certainly not least, probably the most important out of everything, if you're feeling like you're damned inside of your business, be stoic. Okay? What does that mean? A stoic, here's the definition, is a person who can endure pain or hardship without showing their feelings or complaining. If you're going to be an entrepreneur, the facts are you are going to have hardships. You are going to have to endure pain, okay? Like I said, it's one of the loneliest and hardest things a human being can do is go create a business out of thin air. Now, being inside of a community helps because there's other people saying, hey, here's how we're succeeding. Here's how we're overcoming some of our failures. But the facts are, as the leader of your organization, it is imperative for you to stay stoic and calm during the rough seas that are ahead of you. Do not overreact. Do not make emotional decisions. Sit back and make logical decisions that are based on fact, not your emotions, because you're not feeling well. You're not enjoying what is happening inside of your business. The facts are, that's what you signed up for. You signed up to be the person that overcomes that and makes the decisions when things aren't going well. That's why ultimately when things do succeed, you get paid the most. To stay stoic and calm and come up with the right decisions during the hard times. Be relentless in your efforts to always make your business better. And don't succumb to the failures or the thought of failures. For example, I've seen people go out and they buy leads from Speed to Lead or Lead Zolo, and they get them under contract, and then they have to terminate the contracts. And they think that must be a Lead Zolo or a Speed to Lead issue instead of maybe it was a comping or underwriting issue. Maybe it was we don't have the right systems and processes in place for dispositions. maybe our transaction coordination is not up to par. This is where you as a leader have to stay stoic and not make emotional decisions, because you say, I just invested $5,000 into marketing and I had to terminate deals that I got under contract. A stoic leader would sit back and not make an emotional decision or complain or show their feelings about this. A stoic leader would sit back and say, where can we get better? Where did we learn that we have holes in our operation? And it is my job and my responsibility to fix this. Last week, I talked about win the day. Every single day, show up, take the necessary actions, and be consistent inside those actions to win the day. As a leader, you need to be showing up and making decisions that put your entire organization in a place to win each and every day. Even if you are a solopreneur and your entire organization is just you, you have to segment your work into, I am business owner, now I am acquisitions manager, now I'm dispo manager, now I'm transaction coordinator, now I'm bookkeeper and accountant. All of these types of things take your own skill set. This is what I'm saying. This is why it's so hard to be an entrepreneur, especially when you're first getting started. And here's the thing, guys, it doesn't get easier along the way, because then you start delegating those things out to other individuals. That's why number one on this was in toxic personnel relationships, because that could cripple your business. So to recap, I think the 5 things that you need to do if things are not going well in your business to avoid feeling like your business is just damn to hell. In toxic relationships inside of your business. 2, focus on small pivots. Don't make huge swings, okay? Focus on small pivots. Track the results. Track your key performance indicators. Number 4, make sure you're a part of some community. A community of like-minded individuals that are doing the exact same thing, using the exact same systems and the exact same processes. And last, and certainly not least, as a leader, stay stoic in your decision-making. Stay stoic in front of your team so they feel like you as a leader are making the right decisions and not constantly making rash emotional decisions. Now, last thing I'll say about this episode is this came from, I'm always inspired by business, or by business. Well, I am inspired by business, but in this case, I'm inspired by music. This is actually from a band that I love. It's a smaller band. They're out of Iowa. The band name is Destrophy, Destrophy. And the song is called Damned. And I recently have fallen in love with this song. And I went and I listened to, or I read the lyrics. And it feels like what an entrepreneur goes through on a daily basis. Why do you feel alone in a place you once called home? I have felt that as an entrepreneur before, over and over and over again. Why do I feel alone in a place that I have built? You're not welcome here. You're not welcome. Just pick a side. And I mean, it just over and over and over again. Where's the part on here? It talks about the walls that you have built. When all the smoke is gone and all the pieces have all fallen into place, feels like all the hope is gone, seems like all the growth is lost, sucked out of the room as one by one we fall. These are feelings that I have had over 14 years, pivoting from different business to different business. Don't be alone in that journey. That's why it's important to be a part of a community, because I'm telling you, for anyone that's been an entrepreneur for a while, they have felt that over and over and over again. So if you're currently feeling that, listen to the 5 things that I gave you today, because I'm promising you, you're not the only person that's feeling that way. Don't give up on the dream. that you had to create your own reality as an entrepreneur. Because here's the thing. At the end of the day, you're probably not that far off from the success that you want. And if you fight through using these 5 techniques that I gave you today, you will be able to succeed. You will be able to get where you need to. The ones that fail are the ones that make the rash decisions, that never join a community. The ones that make huge swings where they decide, oh, I'm firing everybody. I'm moving on. I don't like how much overhead I have. I'm moving on. I'm getting a new office. The ones that don't get rid of the toxic personnel in their business. It becomes a cancer inside of their business. Don't let that be you. Your business is not damned, okay? Don't feel that way just because you're not getting the results. Fight through it. Stay strong. If this resonated with you, leave me a comment. Let me know. Join our community. Come in. Ask questions. We're here for you. I understand where you're coming from, and I want to be a support system for you. Cassie wants to be a support. Everyone here at Titanium wants to be a support system for you, so don't succumb to those feelings that you're alone in your entrepreneur journey, because you're not. Make sure you like the video and subscribe, guys. We'll see you tomorrow on another video. Thank you.